So I lived with anorexia from the age of 12 right up till I was 17, and ended up being hospitalised when I was 17 and spent a year in a mental health hospital trying to recover, learning about food, exercise, and learning to talk about how I felt. And since coming out of hospital, I realised that actually people don't understand a huge amount about eating disorders. We think that to have an eating disorder, you have to be stick thin, you have to look like a skeleton, but actually there's so much more to it than that. And it's not just about weight, it's about emotion, it's about control, and about kind of switching off your feelings every single day and finding your own coping mechanisms. And I think within kind of fashion and within society as well, but mainly within kind of modelling industries as well, is there is this huge issue around trying to kind of be this perfect body shape, to look a certain way. And that pressure that we're putting on so many people every single day has the potential to actually fuel more eating disorders, but also to have a negative impact on people's mental health as well. And across the country, there are over 1.6 million people with eating disorders. And I'm sure a lot of those people are struggling within the fashion industry and actually generally just struggling with their well-being at times as well. And so that's why I'm here today and actually supporting the work that the Be Well Collective are doing, because I think it's amazing that there's an organisation coming together to actually explore mental health more widely within that industry, but to also actually accept that there are some boundaries within that industry and models do have to look a certain way, and that's just the reality of kind of the world and the society that we live in. So it's about actually getting people to be able to support those in that industry and support them in the right way, and that's exactly what these guys are doing, which is awesome. So the advice that I would give someone who currently is diagnosed with an eating disorder and knows that they struggle with food and exercise, what I would say is it's about actually realising there's so much more to life than that. And once you start living your life, you can kind of see the benefits of actually having more energy to do stuff, being able to go out and about, seeing your friends, and actually living that life again. I think quite often we think that that eating disorder becomes like a best friend, and it really, really does. And I felt like that for so long. But actually it's not our best friend, and it is pretty much our worst enemy. And we think that everyone else will maybe lose their life to it eventually, or they'll have their life put on hold, or whatever it might be. But actually that could happen to any one of us. And that's why it's so important that you have to start actually talking, but actually accept that you need that support and realise that that voice in your head, whatever it's telling you to do, is not worth listening to. And I think as well, an issue probably for a lot of you guys is that you will do that comparison thing. You'll probably do it every single day. You'll probably spend hours when you're not at work looking on Instagram, kind of looking at the photos you've had done and comparing exactly what you look like compared to someone else. And actually I do that. I'm not a model, but I do compare myself to loads of other people. And even when I go to the gym, I sometimes find myself looking at all these other girls and guys in the gym, and I'm like, oh my God, they look so much better than me. They might be more toned, they might be in better shape. And as soon as you start comparing yourself, the fact is that whatever you think, you will always come off so much worse, because that's what our brains do. That's what we do when we have really low self-esteem and we're self-conscious about what we look like. So how I manage it, and it's something that I have had to learn, is firstly realising that actually how I see myself isn't actually what is out there and what is the reality of that. And I think that probably goes for a lot of you guys as well, actually realising that that pressure that you're putting on yourself will amplify that negative body image that you might have around yourself, but also have an impact on your self-esteem. So actually reminding yourself that probably every day would be a really good starting point. I also make sure that I don't spend loads of time on social media. And again, sounds a bit boring and it's easier said than done, but it's about actually managing what we're looking at and making sure that if we have accounts that we look at that make us feel really awful about ourselves, don't look at that account anymore. Like, be a bit proactive and make sure that you're following the right accounts where you can get the support. Things like the Be Well Collective or other recovery accounts or whatever it might be, and actually putting your focus on those where you can get that emotional support, but also begin to feel a bit better about yourself. And I think the final one, which is a work in progress for me, but it's an important one to do, it is just about trying to stop those daily comparisons. So when you walk into a room, don't let it be the first thing you do, look around at everyone and judge what you like compared to what they look like, and try and be a little bit more conscious about all of that stuff. And I think actually as well, talking. I know I always bang on about talking, but I do think it's really important. And actually the fact is, when I have a really bad body image day, I normally tell my mum, and I'm like, Mum, what do I look like? Do I look like I've put on weight? Has my weight changed? Do my thighs look big in this? And And it's these really annoying questions for her that she absolutely hates. And obviously my mum's always going to think I look amazing anyway, so she's probably a little bit biased. But actually making sure that you have that group around you that you trust and you feel accountable to, that they can actually be honest with you if they think a photo is bad or if they think an outfit looks bad. And if you build up that network of support, it will help your body image and your self-esteem start to rocket up, because you'll realise that actually you can trust those people that you're having those types of conversations with.